What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé, Season 11, Episode 2, Love at First Flight. Speaking of flights, let's talk about Mark and Mina. Something about this whole entire relationship to me is like a walking red flag. And I don't know why Mark is not seeing what we're seeing in Mina. Mina, to me, seems a little bit problematic. She seems very high maintenance. She seems very demanding. And she also seems very controlling. And it seems like she's not willing to compromise and she doesn't want everything has to go exactly her way. And I don't know why Mark isn't seeing this, but you know what? Mark is an old fool. A guy like Mark is going to follow a woman like Mina to the ends of the earth. You cannot tell Mark anything about Mina. She already has her claws in him. She's not letting go, and he likes it. He likes the feeling. He likes the pain that these claws are giving him as they dig deeper and deeper and deeper into him. There's nothing that his older children can say. There's nothing that we can say to Mark. He's gone. Mark is gone. Okay. Mina has full control of this man's life. And I hope that he has, if he doesn't listen to his children, hopefully he'll listen to his lawyers, his accountant, his financial planner. If he tries to make any changes in his will that will deprive his older children of what's really owed to him. And obviously, of course, he does have to have, he has to include his younger child, Maria. He has to. That's his child. That's his biological child. So I know that the older children are probably really worried about their inheritance. Well, their inheritance has already been minimized somewhat to make room for Maria. Now, the thing is that Mina wants to have more children. Now, of course, I think that the fact that she had a baby so quickly with Mark, that is definitely a telltale sign of her trying to ensure that she will always have some type of financial flow, even if there's no alimony, because, let's say they end up signing the prenup and she doesn't get any alimony or anything else out of this man, she'll get something in the way of her child. So there's always going to be some type of, obviously this is transactional. It's about money. It's about financial security for Mina. And maybe Mark sees this. Maybe Mark doesn't care. Maybe he's like, well, you know what? If this is the price that I have to pay to have a younger woman on my arm, then that's the price that I have to pay. I'm pretty sure that Mark knows how the game goes. I think he totally understands. That's why he's not interested in signing a prenuptial agreement, because he knows that if he wants to play, he's going to have to pay. When they get to the house in, I think it's New Hampshire, the house was fine. It's a very spacious home. I saw no issues with the house, but for whatever reason, Mina was telling Mark that she doesn't want to stay there. So I don't know if it was because of the house itself or because of the area that they lived in. Maybe, I don't know exactly what her deal was because I really wasn't paying attention, but I did hear her tell him that she didn't want to stay there and that if she could leave the next day, she would. He had an issue with that. And so he told her, we'll just give it 6 months. So I'm not exactly sure what her issue is. She has an older son that was supposed to travel with her because he is supposed to come live with them in New Hampshire, but he got held up because there were issues with his passport. But they do plan on having this child come and stay with them because there is a room that is designated for her son. And when they looked at the room, when she came to look at the room, she saw that Mark had kept older photos of his ex-wife and their older children when they were younger. And so Mina had a problem with this. That's understandable because you don't want to walk into your fiance's house and see pictures of his ex, especially since they've been divorced for a while and he had a whole relationship between the ex and you. Okay, so why do you still have pictures of your ex? Now, pictures of your kids, I would have no problem with. But the pictures of your ex, I feel like, yeah, maybe he should have taken those down. So she felt some kind of way about that. But I know that's not the reason why she wants to leave. I don't know if like I said, I don't know if it was the town that they live in or the house itself, but for whatever reason, she wants to leave. So Mark tries to convince her to give it 6 months and then they'll revisit the issue of leaving. But Mark and Mina is completely transactional. I think she's a gold digger. I hate saying that. I feel like I'm saying a bad word, like I'm saying profanity by saying gold digger, but I think she is a gold digger. Moving on to Jessica and Juan. So they're checking into their hotel. Juan just wants to go to sleep, okay? But these kids are still very high energy. They're jumping up and down on the bed. Finally, everybody gets to go to sleep at night. Juan was really disappointed that they didn't have their privacy because it's been a while since he's seen Jessica and he wants to have some alone time with her. Well, well, it's not going to happen at the hotel, and for sure it wasn't going to happen at the house until the kids go to school the next day or whenever they go back to school. Because when they get to the house, come to find out there's no door to their primary bedroom. And he asked her, why don't you have a door to your own bedroom? And she says, well, when you have kids, there's no expectation of privacy. And I was like, Jessica, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but you sound stupid. There's always an expectation of privacy. Everybody deserves privacy. There should be a door to her primary bedroom. There should be a door to her children's room. I'm not understanding exactly why there isn't. It makes no sense to me. The kids' rooms is right next to their bedroom. I don't know if there was like a wall, if there was y'all, I didn't understand the layout of this house. I need to see the blueprint to fully understand what's going on here. It seemed like the kids' room and her room were next to each other, but there was nothing really separating the two rooms. It was like one big room or something. I don't know. But the kids were having conversations with her. While they were trying to lay down and go to sleep, the kids were talking to her. So it was like there was no wall there. I'm not understanding what's going on here. But everybody should have an expectation of privacy, especially at night when you're going to sleep. If you want to close your door, you should have the ability to do that. So Jessica, I don't know why you're doing things that is going to guarantee that this man runs away. Because what? Anyways, let's move on. Stevie and Maddie. Okay, come to find out, Stevie and Maddie have only spent one full week together. So they're practically strangers as far as I'm concerned. So he gets to the United States and, it finally hits him that he's not going to be able to see his parents or his family for a while, because we find out that when an Iranian leaves Iran and comes to the United States, they have a really hard time going back. And if they do go back, then there's a possibility of them being arrested. So when he lands in America, it hits him full force and he may never be able to see his family again. If they're not willing to meet him in another country, I'm assuming, but he for sure can never go back to Iran. They get to the hotel and right outside their window, there's an American flag. And he tells Stevie that this was amazing to him to finally look at the American flag in all its glory, because in Iran, the only time that he ever saw the United States flag was when it was being burnt or stomped on. So this was really something for him. It was very momentous for him to see the American flag in all its, natural form. He asks her, if I wanted to go back home to Iran, but I couldn't come back, would you let me go? And she was like, well, I'm not going to stop you if that's what you really want to do. But then she tells us that she couldn't see her life without him. So it's like, it's really sinking in now, the decision that he made, but it's like, okay, it's too late now, Maddie. It's too late. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. More could have happened, but I wasn't paying attention. Moving on to Greg. So Greg and Joan, they are our newest couple. We meet Greg first. He's 35 years old. He lives in Long Island, New York. He's a baker. He's a plumber. He's a jack of all trades. He used to be 480 pounds, but he lost over 200 pounds. He tells us that he was on a trip to Africa and he fell asleep on someone's shoulder. I guess the passenger next to him. And then when they got to Africa, this particular passenger had asked him if he would come with him to Uganda. And so he went to Uganda with this guy. And that's when he first met Joan, but nothing really came out of that initial encounter. When he came back to the United States after that, Joan had DM'd him. And so he was really happy that this woman that he met in Uganda, sought him out on the internet and found him. So he was really excited about that. And that's when their relationship really took off. So later on, he goes back to Uganda to visit Joan, and that's when he proposed to her. So now they are engaged. Greg lives with his mother. I don't have a problem with people living with their parents because they're trying to save money, get their stuff together. That's fine. My issue is you are bringing your fiance over to the United States to start this new life with her, but you're still living with your mother. You are still trying to get yourself together. Why don't you wait until you've gotten yourself together, until you are where you want to be in life, and then bring your fiance over? I don't understand why you would bring your fiance in a situation where she has to share space with your mother. I'm an introvert, so maybe I see things differently from the way the average person sees them. I don't think it would be very comfortable to bring your fiance over to live with you and your mom. And on top of that, he seems like he's a mama's boy, because his mom was telling us how she cooks for him, she cleans his room, she does his laundry. It seems like he's a mama's boy on top of all of that. I'm just not understanding. I don't know why TLC wants to choose people who are like, anywho. Okay, so he's a baker, he's a plumber, he does a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She herself, Joan, she is a director of a nonprofit. She is college educated. He tells us that her life in Uganda is fantastic. So, like, what did she see in Greg? I'm not trying to be overly critical of Greg, but like, for real, what did she see in Greg? What pitch did he use to convince her to leave all of that behind so that he can live with the mama's boy and his mommy? I have questions. Moving on to Shekinah and Sarper. Not much going on with Shekinah and Sarper, y'all. I hate talking about Shekinah and Sarper because they're not real. They're not real. They're not real people with real issues. He got approved for his visa, and they went to go tell his family that he got approved, that he's going to be leaving for America with Shekinah, and then they have 90 days to get married. Of course, his parents were really sad about that. He is their only child. They're older. They're having health problems. And so there was this expectation that Sarper would be taking care of his parents in their twilight years, but now he's running off to the United States with Shekinah. And so the parents are like, you know that they're affected by this, but they're trying to put up like a really brave front for the sake of Sarper. But it's in motion. It's going to happen. He's coming to the United States. It is what it is, because we saw him on the tell-all. It's just like Sarper and Shekinah. They're like, y'all, we're not going to be able to escape them. It's just like Gino and Jasmine. We will never escape these people. I could care less about Sarper and Shekinah. I really don't care about them. But yeah, he got approved. He's on his way to America, and his parents are really sad about it. That's all I got to say, y'all. I'm so sorry that it was so short and uneventful, but it was a nothing episode, and it was really hard for me to stay focused on the show. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.